So my name's Paul Anastasio. I'm a Senior Director in Asda and I work in logistics. And I'm lucky enough to run the toyou business. And so this afternoon, I'm here to talk to you about returns and how in Asda and with the toyou service, we're making returns easy. In fact, our service is all designed around trying to solve pain points that existed for our business, but also for other retailers' businesses as well. Now, you'll be pleased to know that we decided to keep this quite light touch today, conscious that this is the graveyard shift. You've just been fed, you're probably up early, so we'll keep this quite high level. And if I manage to confuse you, there's a video at the end that hopefully will explain it all to you. And so, firstly, I'm quite conscious wherever I go these days that frequently it's a European audience, and so not everybody will know about Asda, so I'm conscious it won't be a room full of Brits. And so a little bit of an introduction to Asda. Yes, so we are a grocer, but we also have a strong apparel and general merchandise business called George. We were founded in the 1960s in Yorkshire, and our main home office is in Leeds, and we have a George home office in Lutterworth. We're one of Britain's leading retailers, helping customers save money and live better. And we do this today. It's very different. 10 years ago it was all about stores. Today it's all about stores, online, and also increasingly through customers' mobile devices. Each week, more than 18 million customers visit our 626 stores, and we have 172,000 colleagues. Asda.com, our grocery home shopping business, and George.com, our sort of general merchandise clothing business online, deliver to 99% of UK homes and to 650 click and collect sites. And finally, you'll notice through the sunrise, we're part of the Walmart family, joining in 1999. And so, I guess we should introduce to you first. And in 2015, we launched toyou then, a parcel pickup and drop-off service, or PUDO as we're now all familiar with, for third-party retailers, and also not forgetting George.com, utilising our logistics and retail assets, our estate, on a next-generation systems platform. And in the toyou team, we're in a very unique position, because we are offering parcel services to other retailers, but we sit across the table from those other retailers as a retailer with a shared common ground, which is the customer in the centre of that. And so because our George.com business is one of our biggest clients of the toyou service, that gives us a very unique advantage, we feel, when we're talking to the pain points that existed in our world and do exist for customers, but also for our partner clients as well. It gives us a very, very unique perspective. And so the logical question that sort of flows from flows when we sort of engage with a new partner first time is, how did you go as the logistics services from providing essentially, logistics services just to Asda? And if we reflect sort of 5-10 years ago, all about big trucks, servicing from big warehouses to big stores. How did you go from that to launching a parcel PUDO service? And to answer that question, we have to look back really to the launch of our George.com business in 2008. We started, very conservatively, a couple of carrier services. 2009 was all about our partnership with MetaPack and integrating that technology into what we were doing. But certainly in 2009, one thing that we did do was we launched a click and collect proposition. And back in 2009, we did that using parcel carriers. And, a modest start, not necessarily a very fast service, but essentially click and collect back then wasn't that fast if we do a reflection. And so 2010 was really a seminal year for us because we made a change, we made a strategic decision, to route our click and collect proposition back through our logistics capability, back through our logistics network. And that was quite fundamental, a fundamental change for us, because it gave us a cost and service advantage. You know, we've got 11 million square feet of warehouse in the UK. You know, most of our sites do 1,000, 2,000 deliveries a week. So, you know, being able to sort of use that massive infrastructure is certainly a unique advantage. But what that did for us was that instead of scaling up home delivery, we've scaled up click and collect. And so in today's world, 70% of all of our George.com orders are actually collected in our stores. So we know a lot about click and collect because our biggest customer sends a lot of parcels to our shops. And so that, alongside sort of a reflection in 2013 about where that was going to go and us wanting to innovate that technology and that experience for our business, alongside some structural changes that were coming into the UK market from a grocery home shopping perspective, the consumer really warming up to grocery collection. If you think about it, we've scaled in the UK home delivery, and then all of a sudden around about 12 into 13, collection formats were appearing at grocers. And so what you had is these ingredients. You've got the growth that we were expecting in our own collection proposition, and also customers warming up to grocery collection as well, meant that we decided and we convinced our exec that we wanted to make a strategic investment in technology, infrastructure and process to support this emerging click and collect channel that we had, but also, very critically, to open the service up to third-party partners under the toyou brand. Now, it's also worth just a reflection about what gave us the confidence, because this was a significant investment for the business. And so if you reflect back into sort of 2012, 2013, participation of click and collect in the UK with a retailer that was mature was probably only 10 to 15%. Now contrast that with our business at 60%. That sort of gave us the confidence that essentially there was an opportunity, a market there to drive that percentage even higher. And you know, certainly that's been borne out now, because we talk about a mature online retailer having probably 20 to 25% participation of collection or click and collect. And certainly in our world, that is 70%. And so we still maintain a view that the poodle market is still emerging, is still immature, but certainly now customers are warming up to collecting a parcel waiting for them and having really easy returns options. And our simple conclusion about that is it's all about doing more with less time. And so just a little bit of a look behind the scenes. You've sort of heard me talk about our network. So this is a quick slide about the back end. So we use our extensive logistics services network as logistics services for the transport and warehouse network behind toyou. In fact, we own and operate the solution end to end. Nothing goes out of our network. And so essentially, what do we do? Exactly what any other parcel carrier does. It's our transport asset. We go and collect and deliver parcels to our partners, fulfillment centres. We sort those parcels to cages, and we cross-dock those cages through our logistics network. Just for interest, we use ambient, and we use our +6 and +13 chill supply chains. We're careful we don't put anything through the freezer network, because that probably wouldn't be good. But essentially cross-docking those parcels in cages to our stores, and of course we collect and deliver to those locations multiple times during the course of the day. And our technology connects that full enterprise. So this is brand new technology working back from the customer. But one of the key design requirements was to be able to do that for both forward and reverse traffic. So we believe that gives us a real advantage, a real service advantage, new technology, monitored proposition, air traffic control style visibility across what we're doing. And so then, if we sort of reflect about the retail format then behind the toyou proposition, and there's something really interesting we think about our network, which is we are multi-format. So we've got a range of Asda store sizes, including petrol filling stations, and also drive-through collections, so drive-through technology in our larger shops. And in fact, in 2017, we'll also introduce in and around London some multi-lane drive-through standalone collection locations. Our bigger shops have self-service kiosk technology and returns drop boxes that are essentially a US-style postal service drop box with a label printing capability inside of them. And Asda stores are a great environment to come and drop off or collect a parcel. We're naturally open 7 days a week. We open extended hours, so early in the morning till late at night, and in some instances, 24 hours a day. And it's really easy to park. And you sort of heard me at the beginning talk about multi-format, and that's really starting to come through now in some of our insights, because having a choice of collection and returns format gives customers a real advantage in our view. It plays right into that concept of me-centricity. So as a customer, I can collect or return to a location where I'm going to be, but really importantly, what's emerging for us is taking into account what I need to do. And it just feeds right into that, doing more with less time. And if I perhaps bring that to life for you, on a Monday at lunchtime, I might choose to return a parcel to a small format close to work. On the way home, I might choose a petrol filling station because that's very convenient. But at a weekend, when I've got a parcel to collect, essentially, I might choose a bigger store because I can, again, daisy chain more activity, combining a parcel collection and also coming in and maybe doing a shop or maybe visiting a travel agent that's inside one of our stores. This concept of more with less time. And so, I'm not going to talk around this slide, you'll be pleased to know, but customer experience for TU and how we sort of designed it and built it, it was all about addressing specific industry pain points. And so we, at the offset in 2013, we did some extensive customer listening. And we continually listen to what our clients' customers and our own customers tell us about the service. And we think that's absolutely sacred and very, very important. Now, one area in that customer listening stood out as probably the biggest opportunity that we felt that existed and was a pain point for customers, and that was returns. And so the natural question when you listen to sort of that river of feedback is, why is returning an item so difficult? And so when we've listened to customers, what we're going to talk you through is what do they tell us about returns and how are we building some of that feedback into our solution today. And so I think overarchingly, customers find returns complicated. And if you think about what we ask them to do, we essentially ask everybody that does a return to become, for a temporary period of time, an inventory clerk from a warehouse. So tell us, check off, what you're going to return back. So it's complicated at the offset because there's an administrative burden for a customer. So there's something for a customer to do. Also, what customers have told us is that they don't like making a special journey to return something. Printing labels at home is complicated and particularly difficult when you don't have a printer. And when you do have a printer, the stars have got to align because you've got to have ink and you've got to have paper in it. And if you've got young kids like we have in our house, you've never got pink, you've never got blue. And they would be pretty strange returns labels, granted, if you did print out in pink and blue. Also, I think it's universally acknowledged, and certainly we know a lot about this. We know a lot about turning customers around quickly when they come in to collect a parcel. And certainly, customers least like queuing when returning things. They absolutely see it as essentially a lot of effort for very little or no reward. Also, when they've handed something over, they want to know what's going on. Yeah, they want to be able to track a return. But many times customers feel blind when a parcel is on its way back. There's generally not a positive confirmation until the return is processed. There's never generally a positive conversation that we've handed that parcel over, we've passed the baton over by the industry. And what's feeding that is just very simply, it takes too long to get a refund. And I guess the absolute umbrella point of feedback from consumers, from customers, is that they will not order again if a returns experience is poor. So we're trying to help our partners. We're trying to help customers by having a better returns experience. So we shot a bit of a video clip, a bit of a cartoon for you. And it's basically, in our view, what a good job looks like. It takes the existing TU technologies that we've got today, and we're talking about technologies that we will put onto the platform at the end of this quarter for our partner retailers. And then I'll walk you through that at the end. Can we play the clip? And so at the end of quarter one this year, we're going to introduce the ability on the TU platform to create returns QR codes on a smartphone, a tablet, or a desktop. I think the important thing is what I'm about to say, which is, yes, on our website, but also through embedded widget technology, which is really easy to integrate on our partners' websites as well. So on a partner's returns page, a couple of lines of code, essentially calls out our assets and lets a partner's customer in their environment print a returns QR code that ultimately can lead to a returns label. And so customers come into our locations, they scan those QR codes at a TU location, they print out the returns label and very simply pop that returns label into a TU Dropbox, or they can hand it over to a colleague. And that capability will complement our other returns options. So clearly, pre-printed label on dispatch paperwork, the ability to print a returns label at home, and also we have got the capability that somebody can just come in and use a kiosk or speak to a colleague and get a returns label for one of our partners. And we're really excited about this development because it opens up a goal of ours, which is to really carry the experience with you. So, returns on the go, on a smartphone, in an environment that, most of us are familiar with, which is our phone. And of course, our partner retailers ask us to capture data from that customer. And one of the really exciting things for us in the future is that QR code and the data that we capture and essentially scan into the network, we can essentially help our partners give instant refunds and very, very quick refunds. Within sort of 5 or 10 minutes of scanning in, we can have that data back with our partner to say, the return's back, do you want to give that refund? And so, final thought from me. It's clearly important, and we're learning, it's clearly very, very important to cater for the digital natives. But one size doesn't fit all. So having a fully formed set of options is really important to cater for the tech savvy and the not so tech savvy as well. And so finally, it's always a privilege to come here every year and get the opportunity to talk to you guys. We're around this afternoon. Feel free to come and have a chat and have a natter. Thank you very much.